Today we preview the AFC East. 3 reasons why each team will win or not win the division. Plus, it's Aggie Day right here on Football Takeover YouTube show. Let's go. Welcome into another episode of the Football Takeover YouTube show. Glad you're with me, John Harris, owner, founder of footballtakeover.com and this YouTube channel. And glad you're with me where we talk football, trying to do it 24/7, 365 as best we possibly can. But a lot going on in the world of football. We're going to preview the AFC East today. I'm going to give you 3 reasons why each team will win the division and 3 reasons why they won't win the division. Plus, we're going 2-minute drill preview today of the Texas Aggies. That's right, Texas A&M under the microscope, the Football Takeover microscope. I'm on Texas Aggies every week, so I know that team, I would think, pretty well and know the personalities there very, very well. So we're going to preview AFC East, Texas A&M, and we got to start off each show with the cover 3. 3 stories in college, high school, NFL that I don't know, we need to talk about just a little bit, kind of dip our toe in the water to start the show. So let's start with number 3. And we're talking AFC East today, so why not talk about Ezekiel Elliott with the Patriots. First practice as a Patriots up in it's near the Fox River in Green Bay. The Patriots with joint practices against the Green Bay Packers. Ezekiel Elliott shown going on the field in his Ohio State numbered Patriots jersey, number 15. Back then he couldn't wear 15, but now he can. So he's wearing that 15 proudly and looks like he's ready to ground and pound. Keep that in mind. For the New England Patriots, they're up in Green Bay. A lot of joint practices going on. You got the Dolphins down here in Houston against my Texans. You got the Patriots and the Green Bay Packers, Commanders and Ravens. You got the had Jets and Panthers last week. You've got the Lions and the Jaguars, so Titans, Vikings. Speaking of Titans, Vikings, let's get to note number 2 in our cover 3, and that goes to Minneapolis. Number of injuries today, seemingly in these practices, and a lot of wide receivers, but a big one down in Tennessee. Treylon Burks, second-year wide receiver out of Arkansas, went deep, caught a pass in the end zone, and apparently came down awkwardly. He was videoed from afar by a fan, kind of holding his knee. He was carted off. As was said by many, he was kind of dapped up by DeAndre Hopkins and Derrick Henry. Treylon Burks injured at Titans practice. Now, we don't know what that means. Could be anything. Could be a bruise. It could be a sprain. It could be a torn ligaments. It could be torn 5 ligaments. Who knows? Don't know. But seeing a guy carted off at practice is never a good thing. And apparently those on hand said Burks was pretty shaken up about it. So maybe he knows. Not a great thing, but definitely want to keep an eye on it. Number 2, Treylon Burks going down at Titans-Vikings joint practices up in Minneapolis. And at number 1, we'll go college football for this one. One of the things about college football we all know. Realignments change everything, right? Rivalries go away. In some cases, rivalries come back. Texas A&M, we lost you, but now we're getting it back. So there are some that are and have gone away for a while, some that are going away forever. Well, here's one, hopefully that's not going away forever, but is going away at the end of the 2025 season, and that's TCU and SMU. That's always a great game, regardless of where those teams are. The Battle of the Iron Skillet, Fort Worth and Dallas, SMU and TCU, going away after 2025. Schedule's just not going to work with SMU being in the AAC and TCU being in the Big 12. And they just shook hands and said, well, I don't even know if they shook hands, but we can't do this anymore. Well, there you go. Another rivalry dead for the time being. I guess it can't be really dead if I'm saying for the time being, but you get the point. After 2025, TCU, SMU. Hate it, but that's what's becoming a college football. One of these days, we're going to just take a whole entire Football Takeover YouTube show, and we're going to figure out what to do with college football. I think we kind of have an idea. We're seeing more of this. My friend Aaron Rabel, who is our engineer on all of our games for Texans Radio, he came up with an idea, and I think a lot of people are kind of catching on to it, about kind of a Premier League type setup. And maybe with relegation. Well, that could be kind of interesting. But that's for down the road. Right now, we know TCU and SMU after 2025 kaputs. That's tough. All right, let's dive into our preview. We're going to preview each of the divisions in the NFL throughout the next, I don't know how many weeks. Today's the AFC East. And I don't want to say this one's easy, but I have had the opportunity to watch the Patriots last week in a preseason game and see the Dolphins up close at practice. And my goodness, they've got some dudes in Miami. There's no question. And we didn't even see Jalen Waddle on Wednesday. So leave that as it be. Decided to do how to preview this division. I thought, what's 3 reasons each team will win a division and 3 reasons why they won't win a division. This division, of all divisions, pretty stacked from top to bottom. Could you make a case for every single one of them winning the division? Well, I'm going to try. Because in this division, I think you could. I think you very well could. So let's start with the team that I think will win the division again. And that's the Buffalo Bills. 3 reasons why the Bills will win the division in 2023. Number 1, Josh Allen, superstar. Yeah, I mean, the guy does everything. I mean, he's got a cannon arm. He sets the vibe and the tone for the Bills. He's just incredible with the football in his hands. Running it, throwing it, he's unbelievable. He gives them a chance in every single game the Bills play. So number 1, Josh Allen, superstar. Number 2, the healthy return of Von. Yes, Von Miller returning. That team took a turn last year when Von went out. Now, Von doesn't have to be an every down player, but he's got to be in every down that he's in disruptor. And when he is, that makes Buffalo's defense that much more difficult to stop. With Greg Rousseau on the edge, along with Von, they've got a little bit of depth at that position. Ed Oliver inside. The defensive line can be nasty, but it's only nasty if Von Miller is there. Last year, teams started having more time to throw with no Von there. Von changes everything for that defense. Number 2, the healthy return of Von Miller. Number 3, 12 personnel. Now, you know from our Football 101, you know what 12 personnel is. What is it? 1 back, 2 tight ends. What did they do in this draft? They went out and drafted probably the best pass-catching tight end of the entire group, Dalton Kincaid out of Utah. But they already had a great pass-catching tight end, Dawson Knox. Adding those 2 guys together, it looks like 12 personnel, but it can play like 11 personnel because they're both such good receivers. Shoot, at that point, it could even play like 10 personnel if you wanted to. So number 3 reason, 12 personnel and the use of 12 personnel, because it can look like 11 with Kincaid and Knox on the field together. That's going to be a really nasty alignment with Diggs, Kincaid, Knox, Gabe Davis. You can get kind of fun with those guys out there together. And like I said, it looks like 12, but it's going to play like 11. All right, 3 reasons why the Bills won't win the division. Josh Allen, running back. Last year at the end of the year, I felt like Josh got beat up pretty good. Running the ball a lot in got-to-have-it situations. I think it finally took its toll on Josh. He can't be Josh Allen, running back. He's got to be Josh Allen, superstar, which means maybe less carries and more through the air, more relying on your guys to make plays. Number 2, did Stephon Diggs get enough help? Was Dalton Kincaid enough? Can Gabe Davis step up? I think Gabe Davis is as good a number 2 as you're going to find in the league. But was that enough for Stephon Diggs? We don't know. I don't know. I think there's going to be more 12 personnel, as I mentioned, and so maybe they don't need another receiver. Maybe they just need another receiving threat, and maybe that came in the form of Dalton Kincaid. Number 3, quite honestly, the O-line just isn't good enough yet. I'm not buying the offensive line, not yet. I do think that they've got some pieces. I love Deion Dawkins, I always have. But I don't think across the board that offensive line is ready to protect Josh, which turns Josh into Josh Allen running back, when Josh Allen needs to be Josh Allen superstar. So I don't know if that offensive line is good enough, to be honest, for skill players, perimeter players like the ones the Bills have. They've got to be able to run the ball with guys not named Josh Allen. So those are your 3 reasons why the Bills won't win a division. All right, let's get to the Dolphins. I saw them today for the first time. 3 reasons why the Dolphins will win a division. Number 1, Jalen and Tyreek. Waddle and Hill. Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill are unbelievably dynamic. And seeing Tyreek up close and personal, I mean, I've seen him throughout for how many ever years. But seeing him at practice up close, I mean, that guy is just dynamic. And Jalen is just the same. So you've got 1A, 1B, 1B, 1A, however you want to look at it. But those two change the game offensively. And they change the game defensively for how you attack the Dolphins. You just can't sell out and do certain things you'd want to because they're so good and so quick and dynamic and electrifying. You just can't do it against them. So Jalen Waddle, Tyreek, number one. Number two, it's a bold statement, but I'm making it. The defensive line is the best in the division / AFC. Zach Seiler, Raekwon Davis, Christian Wilkins, when he's not holding in, Bradley Chubb, and Jalen Phillips. That's stout. Oh, yeah, by the way, Emmanuel Ogbah comes in with Phillips and Chubb at times to rush the quarterback. And Vic Fangio is calling plays for that defensive line. That line is stout. Put David Long Jr. back there at linebacker behind them. He might have 170 tackles this year. That dude, he's a baller. But the defensive line is the best in the division. What's also the best in the division, it might be the best in the AFC, is number three, the secondary. Even without Jalen Ramsey, that secondary can clamp down receivers like nobody's business. They are phenomenal to watch. Xavier Howard, I don't even know if Texas tested him on Wednesday. Maybe once. Now, it's going to hurt a little bit without Jalen Ramsey, but Kadar Kohu at nickel with Javon Holland, who I think is arguably one of the top 5 safeties in the league, I think they could be excellent in the secondary. I mean, with Vic Fangio pulling the strings over there, defensive line best in the AFC. Secondary, I think you can say is best in the AFC as well. 3 reasons why the Dolphins won't win a division. Number one more hit. One more hit could be all it takes for Tua Tagovailoa to suffer another concussion. This team will go as Tua goes. Now, I thought about putting Tua in the reasons they can win a division, but I figured it was more important to put him in the reason why they won't, only because of that one hit. It takes one hit. It takes him to fall wrong one more time. And that's going to be, I think, a 4th concussion in 2 years. And that worries me because at that point, if Miami's got to go to Mike White or Skylar Thompson, I mean, that's a 7-10 team. With Tua Tagovailoa, I think it could be 11-6, maybe 12-5 maybe. Even though the AFC is tough, AFC East is tough, they can be that good. But it takes one more hit for Tua to be done. Number 2, the offensive line will allow Tua to take too many of those hits, and one of them might be the one. That offensive line just isn't good. I'll be honest. It's just not. I love Teron Armstead. I think Robert Hunt's an absolute dude. He can quick set anybody in the league and hold up against it. He's unbelievable. But they have question marks to me at center, the other guard spot, the other tackle spot. I'm not believing in Austin Jackson just yet. Liam Eichenberg is more a tackle than he is guard, but they're trying to make him a guard. Connor Williams is Connor Williams. I've just never been sold on the guy. So I think they're solid at 2 spots. 3 others, I think, could be a massive problem. And that could lead to one more hit on Tua. That could be the hit. And all of a sudden, you've got backups, and Miami is, playing for, top 12 picks in the draft. Number 3. Third reason why the Dolphins won't win a division. Along with that offensive line, they're just not going to be able to run the ball well enough. I like Raheem Mostert. I like Jeff Wilson, and I'm a huge fan of A-Chain. But I don't see any of them being a guy you hand the ball to running behind that offensive line with a lead in the 4th quarter. I feel like this has got to be a team that wins games and continues to win games with Tua, RPOs, glance, slants, quick stuff. Just get in the hands of those 2 guys, Tyreek and Jalen, and let them do work. I think the running backs are good as a group. And I think A-Chain can be really dangerous out of the backfield. I just don't think they can run it well enough, especially to win that division. All right, let's get to the New York Jets. 3 reasons why the Jets will win the division. Number 1, Zava, Aaron Rodgers. Number 2, the defensive line. I mean, you can just say the defense in general, but the defensive line is stacked. It feels like they can go 8 or 9 deep, and they're all tremendous. The best is Quentin Williams. But if we've seen from the edge, Jermaine Johnson, Will McDonald, the spin master himself, that defensive line is flat out nuts. It's different than Miami's. This group is more about burst and explosiveness. Miami's a size. They're massive. This Jets defensive line, holy smokes, they can get after it. And number 3, 2022 draft picks. Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner. I mean, they were rookies of the year at both positions. Wilson's getting better. Sauce is getting better. Lockdown defensive corner. Go-to wide receiver for Zaba. Those are the three reasons why the Jets are going to win a division. Why the Jets won't win a division. Number one, the hype will eat them alive. Have the Jets really, since Rex Ryan, been a team in the mix, have been able to handle the hype? I mean, there's a lot of hype around the Jets. Can they handle it? Can Rodgers keep them under control? We'll see. Number two, the second reason why the Jets won't win a division, the offensive line will get Rodgers killed. Joint practices, apparently, he was bothered and rushed the entire time. The entire time. The Browns apparently got after him good. That offensive line has big names. Kai Becton, AVT, Elijah Vera Tucker, Laken Tomlinson. They got some dudes. But that offensive line is just not good. And they will get Rodgers killed, which leads to number three. If the vibe goes south, how does Rodgers respond? I think what I've seen from Hard Knocks, I think Aaron he's not quite the diva everybody makes him out to be. But when you've been in a place for so long like Green Bay, then you go to the Jets and you have these high hopes. And then all of a sudden you're getting you-know-what beat out of you because the offensive line is not protecting you and doesn't give you time to throw. And as a result, you're throwing picks or you're taking a lot of big hits. That can be a problem. Now, there's a rumor about David Bakhtiari. Now, if he goes to the Jets, now things change a little bit. So we'll see what happens there. But those are your three reasons why and why not the Jets in the division. Now, the team that I don't think really has a shot to win a division is doing the Patriots, but we're going to do it anyways. Three reasons why the Patriots will win the division. Number one, ground and pound. That's what the Patriots are going to want to do. They're going to want to ground and pound. With Ezekiel Elliott, Ramondre Stevenson in reverse order. Ramondre is going to be the guy, and Zeke's going to be able to spell him. But I think that's what this offense has to do. The receivers don't scare anybody. So if there's inefficiencies defensively for a lot of teams, it's the fact that they've gone lighter. Well, the Patriots are going to hit them where they ain't. Find an inefficiency. That is, they face light boxes, they face light defenders. They're going to ground and pound with two heavy running backs and win games 17-13. That's what they're going to do. Ground and pound. That's why they're going to win a division. Number two, Bill Belichick. He can work his defensive magic. He can work his coaching magic. He can win a division playing it his way. He's always found an inefficiency in the market and taken advantage of that. One year it was getting two tight ends on the field, playing 12 personnel. Now it might be with two heavy running backs with Ramondre and Ezekiel and doing some ground and pound. It's Belichick. Number three, special teams and defensive touchdowns. Marcus Jones is an absolute dude returning kicks. And defensively, they get their hands on a lot of passes. They play a lot of different coverages. They do a lot of great disguising. They come up with a lot of knots, non-offensive touchdowns. Those will work in their favor. They beat the Jets last year in a Marcus Jones return. That's what they have to do to win the division. Three reasons why the Patriots won't win the division. Number one, Mac ain't it. Sorry. I love my man Mac Jones. My best friend in high school, Mac Jones. This Mac Jones, not much. Michael McCorkle Jones, don't see it. OB needs better at the position. Okay, I think OB can call some good plays. Focus his offensive coordinator. I just don't think Mac is going to be that guy. I don't think Bailey Zappi's that guy either. So they'll kind of muddle through and see what they got, but they won't win the division because Mac Jones is their starting quarterback right now. Number two, is there enough quality defensive depth? Now, they got defensive dudes. I've always loved their guys up front. Lawrence Guy, Devon Godshaw, Christian Barmore, Uche off the edge, Matt Judon. The defensive front is great. Linebackers, solid. Secondary, I think, is pretty good. Christian Gonzalez at one corner can probably start as a rookie. I don't know if the depth behind him is very good. So if a couple guys go down, I think that defense starts to erode relatively early. And number three, let's be honest, the other three teams are more clearly talented. The Bills, the Dolphins, the Jets. You're facing Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, and Tua Tagovailoa. I mean, they're just clearly more talented, and that obviously is probably the biggest reason, but put it at number three. So there you go. Reasons why the Bills, the Jets, the Dolphins, and the Patriots will and will not win the division in 2023. Now, I'll be right on one of them, and maybe right on some of the other notes as well. But there you go, your preview of the AFC East. Now, it's time for our 2-minute drill. And for the 2-minute drill today, we are talking Texas A&M football. We're going to break down the Aggies in 2 minutes or less. I try to do it 2 minutes or less. So let's rock. Here are the reasons why I think A&M is going to end up being pretty solid. Let's start number one. Play caller, offensively, Bobby Petrino. I think Bobby Petrino is one of the best I've ever seen at taking what's in the chop basket and making the most out of it. Oh, and my chop basket's Ryan Mount. Okay, we're going to be a drop back, throw it deep, play action team. Oh, I got Lamar Jackson in my basket. Oh, I think we're going to be an RPO, zone read, power read, option type football team. Bobby Petrino takes what he's got and makes the most of it. Now, he's got a lot to work with, starting with the best wide receiver core in the SEC. He's got studs across the board. Musa Muhammad III, Evan Stewart's tremendous. Noah Thomas, I think, is a guy to watch. 6'6", 200-pounder out of Pearland. Keep an eye on him. And Anaya Smith went back to school, which I think is great. Those four guys, best in the league, without a doubt. Anywhere in the SEC. They are tremendous. I like Tennessee's receivers. These are the best in combination. So Petrino's got that, those receivers. He's got experienced offensive line. Bryce Foster at center. Ruben Fallery at right tackle. Right guard, Layden Robinson. Ton of experience on the offensive line as well. So there's experience. There's tons of talent. And there's a sophomore quarterback, Connor Wigman, who can be the guy. Just get it to the weapons. He doesn't have to do much. Get it to the weapons. Bobby Petrino will get your guy open. Follow his offensive lead. Do that, you can put some points up on the board. Last year, that offense was dreadful. Part of that was Jimbo not really having a handle on the team and having a handle on the offense. But the talent is there. The play caller is there. The upfront ability is there. They've got it all offensively to be outstanding. Defensively, their defensive front has depth for days. They've been grabbing 5 stars off the shelf like they're cartons of milk. They've got them everywhere. The best to me is McKinley Jackson. He's in the top 50, top 60, I think, of the Harris 100. He's a game changer up front. But, man, they can go so deep inside with so many different dudes. Rakes, Fadil Diggs on the outside, McKinley Jackson, Walter Nolan. I mean, they have so many players. But they've all got to play well, and they've got to be more disciplined defensively. If they can do that, well, they're going to be really difficult. Linebackers, I think, have got speed and talent. Chris Russell, I like. Edgerrin Cooper is the guy that can change that defense, but he's got to be on his planet to play. And if he is, well, away you go. They got a couple of spots to fill in the secondary, and Damani Richardson's got to play a lot smarter and a lot better than he played in 2022. It's the second year in DJ Durkin's defense, so you put that all together, they got as much talent as any team in the conference. You heard me. They got as much talent as any team in the conference. Georgia might have more. Probably a tad more, but that's it. Alabama, LSU, I mean, they got as much as anybody. Whether you want to believe it or not, Texas A&M. Yeah, that's right. Now, schedule plays a big role. Non-conference schedule. New Mexico, ULM, Abilene Christian at home, that's 3 wins. Then they go to Miami September 9th, the second week of the year. That'll be a tough one down in the humidity of Miami. You just never know with Miami. Miami's got some talent defensively. I don't trust anything they've got offensively. Nothing. So that's a game. If A&M comes up and wins, that's 4 wins non-conference. Crossover in the East games. Tennessee and South Carolina. They get South Carolina at home. That's Spencer Rattler at home. But they got to go to Knoxville to take on Tennessee. That will be a tough one. The road games in conference. They play 3. That's it. Tennessee, Ole Miss, LSU. So take those 3 with Miami. That's 4 times they leave the state. That's it, all year. This schedule couldn't play into their hands any better. Finally, Jimbo Fisher. Jimbo's one heck of a football coach. He always has been. But did 2022 take the bloom off the rose? We'll see. And what does he do with idle time? Does he let Bobby Petrino work the offense? How does that go? Jimbo can be a great motivator, one heck of a recruiter. I think he can get these guys to buy into what he believes. And we've seen that from them. But it was a young group last year. And that didn't work in the locker room. How cohesive are they? If they're cohesive, they follow Bobby Petrino, guys defensively stay healthy, I think A&M is looking at 9 or 10 wins. And that can change the trajectory of this program going forward. A lot of young talent. But it's a lot of young talent that played last year that is now a year older and maybe a year better and maybe more disciplined to be a team in the SEC West that can win 9-10 games on the season and really be there in the mix for the SEC West title. Now, it's going to be tough. Alabama, LSU, how that goes. But they can be right in that mix. So that's where I'm putting them. I'm putting them right in the mix. 9-10 wins, right there with Alabama, LSU. Beat Alabama at home? Never know. Now, you got to go to LSU. It's been a house of horrors for A&M, but they can pull that off. They can win at LSU because this team is that talented. But they got to get out of this. They got to get out of their head and go play and let it loose and become the team that it can be. One of the things that stood out to me the most as I started looking at this team was how many guys individually had off years last year. Guys that I expected to be really, really good off years. How many guys had their best year last year? I would say Evan Stewart. After that, anybody else? Not really. And that's the toughest thing about Texas A&M. The ballers have to ball at a high level. The young players have to get in line and provide depth for a team that's already young, but young with experience. 9-10 wins. They can be right there in the mix. That is a 2-minute drill, which I know went longer than 2 minutes, but you know what I mean. There's nothing I can do in 2 minutes. You know that. Nothing at all. Now, if you want to see more, footballtakeover.com. I got my Harris 100. I've got my top 50 prospects in the SEC. Go check that out. And I just put up my top 30 Big 12 draft prospects. That was a fun one to do to kind of get back in touch with the Big 12. And if Texas doesn't win that division or win that conference before it goes to the SEC, oh boy, that's going to be a rough one for Steve Sarkisian, but that's for a different day. But you can check all that out, footballtakeover.com. It's $29.99 for the year right now, $2.99 per month. I feel like that's a steal. Basically, you're getting my draft guide. You're paying for my draft guide, and you're getting everything else free. So sign up, subscribe to the YouTube page. Appreciate you guys. As always, we'll see you tomorrow. And as always, good night.